Good morning, Mayor.
Aloha to you and aloha to everyone out there. How are you having a good morning, sir?
Yes, I am. I didn't have such a good weekend, Mayor. You know, every morning we're here encouraging our listeners, giving them the information. And, you know, I've heard your frustration. I've never shared in it because I don't have the information like you do. But this morning, Mayor, I have to say that I share in your frustration because I've experienced firsthand this weekend on those who are not practicing social distancing, and it's disheartening.
Yeah, and I hate to say I'm glad you did because the old saying is when you feel it, you understand it a lot better.
100%.
And I don't want to be saying I told you so, but
yeah.
I guess I am saying, until you feel it, you don't really understand it.
You're right.
And these people are being blatant. I'm getting calls. We're trying to get our police, but at the same time, we had gatherings down in McKenna at the McKenna State Beach Park. At the same time, we have a large brush fire out in Kikinui, which takes resources, police and fire resources, in helping to, and it's still burning this morning. It is somewhat contained, but not under control yet. And most of the fire, there were 9 fires, which again is concerning. People are now. There are people that do things like that and create more stress on not only our personnel, but the people, the residents of these areas. And it's kind of like where I think frustration and ignorance is all kind of coming together. People are there are some. Yeah. There are some, and a small percentage, but they stand out like a sore thumb that do things like this and just create more anxiety and more stress for our community. And I apologize to the people out there who are doing what is right. You got to understand. I mean, you can tell us, but sometimes we don't have the resources to get there, to do something, to help you, and especially in these kinds of cases, because if there's an accident or there's some life-threatening situation or residents are threatened with a fire, we've got to make that the priority versus a bunch of knuckleheads dancing on the beach with drums and everything else,
Yeah,
and
true
they're doing it in very remote areas or in isolated areas so that they can see if the police come, then they scatter. I mean, it's a cat and mouse game right now, and it's sad.
Yes, it is.
And so, and yet I ask the residents who are getting frustrated not to take the law into their own hand, because that's the last thing I want to see is civil disobedience and confrontation with our citizens. We are in the middle of a pandemic. It's bounced back much of it because of either gatherings like this or travel, And then you saw on TV the other night, they had this jumping off the rock contest in the North Shore.
Yeah.
You saw how many people were gathered around there?
That was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and let me tell you, a lot of that was residents too.
Yes, it was. It was, Mayor.
You cannot just blame the newbies or people that just come to the island or who are visiting the islands. It is some of our own residents, and it's so hard. It is really hard. It's, we locked down, we got the curve lowered, we got it flattened, everything was going good. And then we started to ease the reopening, and like the lieutenant governor said this morning on the news, if this doesn't stop, if this continues to grow, we'll have to go back all the way to square one. Stay at home. Yeah. You know how that will devastate our economy. Yep. How that will devastate the people whose dreams right now have been shattered, now will be destroyed. I don't know how to say this. People, I had a lady complaining this morning, like, why don't you do something? We're trying our best, but we have a limited number of resources we can do, and we have to work with. And I've got to protect people from other situations. We had I don't know, I haven't heard back, a diver that was lost out by Paia. Yeah. And, he was spearfishing, and our resources are not just for COVID-19. Yeah. It is for all the other issues here in Maui County, all the other emergencies. So, again, we are working hard. It is frustrating.
Yes, it is.
But I keep praying that that God will shine light upon these people and say, enough already, guys.
Yeah.
Back off, stay home. Wear your mask, physical distancing. What's so hard? You were doing it before.
True.
But now you've gotten this attitude, well, hey, if the mainlanders can, if others can, so can we. Well, look at the results. Look at the example they've set.
Mayor, my personal concern, as much as I want to point the finger at who is right and who is wrong, my real concern is the division. When we first started this lockdown back in March or April, you could really feel the unity of the people as we were all moving in one direction. Right now, not so much.
Yeah. And you have division within our community. There's many divisions.
Yeah.
And there are political pundits that are taking advantage of this division and trying to fester it. And that can start from the very top of our government right through.
Yeah.
And being an election season, I hear and see things like, it's government's fault for this, it's government's fault for that. You know what? I said this from the beginning. I will not change it. Only you can prevent COVID-19 from spreading.
That's true.
Most of the medical community all agree. If we did physical distancing, wearing face masks, good hygiene, and other preventative measures, we could nip it at the bud. Many of our medical experts said we could almost eliminate it. Not eliminate
90%. Yeah.
90%. That's a great percentage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
In the meantime, they're working on vaccines and other treatments. And again, the vast majority, especially the young ones who get sick, have very little residual effect. Yeah. Although we've seen some young people dying. We've seen some people adversely affected with their heart and lungs and futuristic effects in their life. So you're not immune right now. And we don't know enough about this disease to speak to it, that we know this, that we know that. We know one thing. We're still learning about it.
That's true. And, with outreaches as the MPD quarantine email site and also via the non-emergency numbers, we can report incidents but not take it into our own hands. I think that would just be a disaster.
Well, I think so. However, I can understand the frustration of those on that side that are calling and the police not showing up right away. Or DLNR not showing up right away, But again, there are large parties. There are 2 or 3 going on. I mean, how many? And the National Guard can only support our people. Right. They cannot be law enforcement. That's a little different now. I want people to understand. They're there as a support role. They're there to help, inform, educate. They can help us with that. Manning, what do you call that? Our
checkpoints
and roadblocks and whatever else we do, they can help us. And they've helped us with medical tracing, medical testing at the airports and temperature checks. And all of these wonderful things the National Guard has been doing for us has been greatly appreciated. But they cannot do law enforcement. That is really in MPD's hands and DLNR. These are the 2 real law enforcement agencies in the state. We have FBI and all that, but that's a different level, And so with that being said, I just ask everybody to please remind your neighbor. And you can't do this in a spirit of ohana. Yeah. Like you would talk to your ohana. Maybe for some of us it would be the same. Never mind. Maybe that's not the right way I want to put it. But you know what I'm trying to get to.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
Let them know, hey, brother, don't do this because you're going to hurt not only yourself, your friends and family that are there, but all of us in the community. What's so hard about just staying out of big groups? What's so important that you can't stay away from a big group, especially if you're not wearing face masks and you're not trying to physical distancing? That's all we're asking. Nothing really hard. Because I hate to go and, in the next week or 2, if it doesn't subside, we may have to go back to stay-at-home orders. And that will create a whole new issue and problem.
I agree too, Mayor. But, we can only encourage our people. We can only give them via words. But like you said, it's up to us and it's up to the actions that we take that will, either keep us going along or keep us going in the right direction.
Shane, I'm going to give you some. You're going to be the first. You're going to be the headliner today.
All right. Let's go.
The highway, P-Line Highway in the back, from mile marker 22 to mile marker 28 is closed.
Oh.
police and fire have closed that area down. The fire has
Spread.
picked up again. You know how the morning winds are, right?
Yep.
And so from mile marker 22 to mile marker 28, the highway is closed in the back. I would say if you don't have to go in the back there, don't even think about it today.
Yeah, for sure. If Pilani Highway.
Out of the area. Residents who were evacuated, we were going to open up a shelter, then the fire department let them back in. I don't know if we need to reopen them. I'll get more information, but these are updates that I'm getting right now. So I just advise everybody, along with please help us stop the spread of COVID-19. Stay out of the areas because a lot of firefighting equipment and personnel are moving up and down, and they don't need traffic impeding them from responding to a hot spot or something like that. Please.
That's true. We will look after each other with aloha today, Mayor.
Yeah, please. That's all I ask everybody. Please, just let's start living aloha. We came into this pandemic, and we can come out together. And I know we were doing so well, so there's no question in my mind. When we put our mind and we set our mind to, shut down this pandemic, we did, and we can do it again. We need a few good weeks to get us back on track. This will help all of us, help all our businesses that are struggling.
Yeah. I
had a call yesterday from Aloha Care. These guys have been taking care of our kupuna with lunches and feeding them, right?
Yep.
That's Lanai and some other entertainers that have been doing that here in Maui and in Oahu, and I think maybe statewide, I'm not sure. And, I'm putting some resources towards their program because they do some fabulous work.
Good work.
And all the groups out there who are doing a great job. Mahalo. God bless you, folks. I appreciate it. I'll let you go now. Please, let's hope the day will get better and that the divine intervention and common sense will settle upon these people and that we can honestly be the island and the county I know we can be. God bless you. Have a great day.
We'll see you at the press conference and then talk to you on Friday. Thanks, Mayor.
Aloha. God bless.